Well, hello and welcome to the Essential Mentors. This is your mentor, Mike Favors, and we are on session 8. I'm so proud and pleased to see that you all are progressing through the material and that you're progressing and utilizing and applying what you have been learning. So tonight we have a very interesting subject to talk about. We shouldn't be on here too long, but once again, in house cleaning items, please know that the back office password changes on the 15th of each month, and the new password is sent out once we receive the email that you all have paid your subscription. So if you have not paid your subscription, please pay your subscription so you can go in the back office and continue to access the multiple content that we have back there. Also, if you have not been back there, please understand that there is another tab that has a library. What I did for you all is compose a video library of all of the videos, motivational videos, inspiration videos that I watch personally. Therefore, we can have dialogue and discuss some of those things that I look at that will help empower you and make you better, okay? So with that being said, let me share my screen and we will get started with tonight's lesson. All right, hope you all are excited. I think this is going to be great for you. And I'm going to minimize this, and then once we get through it, we then will begin to open up for Q&A. Now, tonight we're dealing with chapter 8, decisions, the mastery of procrastination. Now, I want you all to understand something, that many people do not know how important procrastination is. Or do they know how important understanding that procrastination is the opposite of decisions? So when you talk about procrastination, what is procrastination? And I want you all to take some good notes. This video will be in the back, but this is going to be interesting for you to understand and figure out. Procrastination is the practice of carrying out less urgent tasks in preference to more urgent ones, or doing more pleasurable things in place of less pleasurable ones, and thus putting off impending tasks to a later time. Now, in order for behavior to be classified as procrastination, it must be, I need you to write these 3 things down. Number 1, counterproductive. Number 2, needless. And number 3, delaying. Now, I want you to really pay attention to this, because all of the things that we have learned throughout the weeks that we've been on here, all of the things that we're dealing with and talking about, they all culminate at this point in time. Because if you are a person who is a serial procrastinator, you'll realize that what you're learning is not being applied to your life, which means you're always one step behind, in some cases 4 or 5 steps. So number 1, it's counterproductive. You want to ask yourself, is what I'm doing helping productively push me to my goal of having a business, starting a business, leadership or ministry, whatever area you're in? Is it productive? Which means, are they building blocks? If what you do today is helping you for tomorrow. I think in one of our sessions, we talked about that proper planning means what I do today will make my tomorrow easy. So think about it. How many of you all actually lay your clothes out and iron your clothes for work tomorrow before you go to sleep? That helps make your morning move faster. How many of you all look at your planner and actually plan your tomorrow today so that your tomorrow would go easier? That's what I mean by productive. But if you don't do that and you wake up and you're running around, let me tell you all, that's how late people stay late, because they're always trying to hurry up and be in a rush to get somewhere. The second thing is needless. Now, you really want to take a survey at your life. And are you doing a bunch of things that are needless to your vision and your goals? Think about how much time you spend watching this, or how much time you spend in leisure time that's really not helping you get to your goals and your dreams in life. And then think about delay. How much do you do in life that's actually delaying you from hitting your targets? You say, well, what do you mean by that? Delays. Voluntarily delay something or put something off just because you can. See, when it talks about procrastination, about doing things that are less pleasurable or putting off impending tasks, we've learned a long time ago that if you really want to be successful in life, you do the harder things first. I know Dave Ramsey talks about the snowball effect, knocking out the smallest debt to the largest debt. But when you're talking about becoming task oriented, if you're taking a test or doing something like that, you do what's hard first and snowball effect it down to where it's easy. Because the harder tasks, probably in most cases, are going to take longer. So then you dedicate the majority of your time for doing the things that's hard. And by the time you get done with the harder things, listen, let me tell you something. You've developed skill sets. You've developed more knowledge and understanding and wisdom because you took the time to delve into the harder things. So watch, some things in life, like making decisions, to some people it's very hard to make decisions because they have not made hard decisions frequently. Did you all catch that? But when you're used to making hard decisions frequently, what's hard to even you now becomes easier to make because you have the wisdom and knowledge to recognize how to make a decision. So procrastination, we have to attack this. Now, the effects of procrastination. People who experience the effects of wasting time and not meeting deadlines know that procrastination can be devastating at both the business and personal levels. Procrastination may result in, and I want to warn you all, I'm getting ready to show you some information that if it hits you, don't give up, don't throw the towel in, just know that we're here to make a difference. Effects of procrastination breed stress. How many of us never knew to associate it that our high levels of stress is because of procrastination? Stress, crisis. Procrastination breeds a crisis situation. It also, it affects us because it then gives us a sense of guilt, a loss of personal productivity, business and social disapproval for not meeting responsibilities or comments. You say, well, how in the world does procrastination do this? Listen, y'all, when you wait to the last minute to do something, as this picture right here says, I'm not a procrastinator. I just prefer doing all my work in a deadline-induced panic. How many of us have used that or even said that? I work better under pressure. Listen, let me tell you all something. What happens when you wait to the last minute, according to the level of severity, guaranteed if you got a six-figure income project or a six-figure income job and you have a deadline or you could lose that job or lose that contract, the stress level is through the roof. What happens now? You wait to the last minute, you begin to stress, you begin to make small mistakes. Next thing you know, you lose the contract, you lose your house, we out on the street. Now tell me, is that not a crisis situation? And all of that comes from procrastination. Now, when that happens, you find yourself in a position of developing what we call a sense of guilt. Let me tell you, guilt-ridden people are often depressed people because they're so full of guilt and they develop the woulda, shoulda, couldas. I wonder what life would have been like if I could have did this, if I would have did that. All of that comes from procrastination. So then what happens? The loss of productivity. People leave you. People in the social arena stop dealing with you. You can't get contracts because now your name is tarnished in that particular section or particular field. And next thing you know, you then are in a position where you are a chronic procrastinator. Now, what causes procrastination? Anxiety, low self-worth, low self-esteem, self-defeating mentality. Of course, disliking the task, subconscious sabotage, fear of success only to fail. How does this cause procrastination? If I'm anxious about doing a task that I think is too big, I'm going to try to put it off. I'm going to try to put it off because my concept of my self-worth is low. Why didn't they give this task to someone else? Why didn't they give this challenge to someone else who could do a better job? Now your self-esteem is low and you don't think you can do something. You don't even think you deserve to be in the room or you deserve to be at the table. Next thing you know, you develop what we call a self-defeating mentality, which means you have lost the race before you even lined up at the starting line. You have begin to automatically think negative thoughts versus positive thoughts. I'm going to get halfway and quit. I won't be able to make it. Versus I'm going to knock this out. And I'm going to be done in a timely fashion. Subconscious sabotage, fear of success. Now I want you to really look at this last one. When you talk about fear of success only to fail, you have people who are chronic procrastinators. And please note that the definition came from Psychology Today. So I went and got a psychological definition of procrastination, okay? When you talk about fear of success only to fail, you have some people that never enter a project because they know they're going to be successful, but they are afraid of how far they will fall after the success. And I'm telling you all, this is amazing information, but they base this data on the failures and mistakes of other people. Just because one person rises and falls doesn't mean I will. Think about this network marketing, how bad of a rep network marketing has gotten in the African-American community because of individuals that didn't even look like us developed a scam. So now we demean and put down network marketing, but you got people in other communities making millions of dollars a day. I mean, millions of dollars a month. So when opportunities, I'll use for an example, like cryptocurrency come along, let me share some with you all. The people in cryptocurrency are making millions of dollars a month. And they're looking at the network marketers, the greatest, who make $1 million a year and say, are you serious? That's all you make? Did y'all hear what I just said? There is another world that lies outside of America where you're talking about moguls with big business and doing things on a whole nother level, but because of fear of success, well, I tried that before, it didn't work. That attitude is a defeatist attitude. It is a self-defeating mentality, and we have to tear that down. And you say, well, what does this have to do with decisions? I'm going to show you right now. Excuse me. Boy, water is the best thing known to man. Listen, when you talk about intention and you talk about outcome, procrastination is the gap between intention and action. Y'all, please catch this. This is good information. If you look at the screen, you see this picture right here. Great intention. I got a great dream. I got a great vision. I've even done my projections and done my homework, and I know what the outcome can be. But between the intention and the outcome is something that I call the abyss of stuckness. I want you to think about that. It is in this place where I know if I just work 4 hours a day toward a dream, I'll have a great outcome. Somewhere along the line, I got stuck. Translation. I have a book title. I have a book that I want to write. I know it's going to bless a lot of people and help a lot of people. I sit down to write. I can't write. Abyss of stuckness. I got some desires that I want to do. I got some things that I want to achieve. I get ready to go do it. Go to the bank. Next thing you know, somebody call me, need something else. Abyss of stuckness. I know I'm called to do something. I want to do it. I just graduated from college. I can't find a job in my field. Instead of starting a business on your own, you get stuck in the abyss of stuckness. Let me tell you something about this abyss. When it comes to making decisions, if you make a decision and procrastinate, you have not really made a decision. All you've really done is make an excuse, because eventually you will find a reason as to why you did not do what you said you were going to do. Now, you will have to go back and watch the video to catch that one. But this sheds highlight that many people in life never get to the great outcomes because they get stuck in the abyss of stuckness. Now, if you look at the picture and you notice how it drips, it droops down, So when you get stuck in the abyss, you go down and then you have to work your way back up just to get to ground level. You do not want to get stuck in this area of abyss of stuckness. No, you want to keep pushing on past that. Now you say, well, how do you do that? Well, first you have to understand that procrastination is the opposite of decision. This is the reason why Napoleon Hill in chapter 8 starts off with procrastination. He says procrastination, the opposite of decision, is a common enemy which practically every man must conquer. If you're taking some notes tonight, I need you to write that down. I must conquer procrastination. You have to conquer procrastination. Listen, the world is not going to wait on you. Time is not going to wait on you to get yourself together. And remember, you can make a decision, but if you don't act on it, then you just really made an excuse, because you will develop a reason why you didn't do it. So do I go this way? Do I go that way? What do I do? You have to make a decision. But to procrastinate and stand at the proverbial fork in the road does nothing for you. So now, what is decision making? Decision making is the process of choosing between two or more alternatives. Some of us in life, we have 2 or 3, 4 opportunities that you have to choose from. That's a great place to be, but look at how much stressful that is if you're not a person who can make a decision. So then individuals make choices based on their what? Personal preferences, values, and goals. So now you see why back in chapter 2, we gave you the concept of what was it? What was the equation? Anybody remember the equation? D plus SOM times O, or desire, state of mind, obsession, planning, persistence, times no failure equal riches. It's in chapter 2 under desire. That's why you have to do your homework, so that you will know how to make a decision based upon your preferences, values, and your goals. In other words, people, if you don't know where you're going in life, you cannot make decisions that's going to propel you into your designed destiny. That's so good right there. But those who know what they want, every decision has an outcome and it involves a risk. But those who know what they want tend to make better decisions than those who don't know what they want. Because I'm not going to make a decision if it's not going to give me an end that's expected. So if I go to college to get a degree, for an example, if my dream is to be a businessman, then it makes sense to go to college and get a business degree, doesn't it? Why would I go to college and get and go to nursing if I want to be in business? That's just wasting time, right? So now, decision making is a skill set. And I'm going to show you and teach you how to build your skill set of decision making. So many people can sense a call, can hear a call, know what they have to do, but because of the inability to make a decision. Somebody, I'm going to ask if you would put yourself on mute. Somebody came off mute. All right, thank you. Building a skill set of decision making. First thing I need you to understand is you got to learn how to reach decisions promptly. You got to learn how to reach decisions promptly. Why? Because most of your wealthy people, I'm going to read something to you from the book. If you analyze several hundred of people who had accumulated fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark, disclose the fact that every one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly. They had a habit of reaching decisions promptly, y'all. This is a skill set that I had to develop, because when you're talking about business, windows of opportunities are small sometimes. And if you're spending so much time going back and forth, you very well may miss the opportunity. So we want to learn how to reach decisions promptly. Number 2, we want to change those decisions slowly. You all ever met somebody, one minute they're doing this, the next day they're doing that, the next day they're doing that? That's because they made a decision, but at the mere hint of a storm or something, they change their decision real fast. Not realizing, if you get with me and say, for example, if I teach you how to trade, you will learn in trading how to read the trend and how to be patient. So in essence, when it comes to decision making, you make the decision promptly and be slow to change the decision. Because many people in the world, y'all watch this, they change decision based upon the opinions of other people. Now, if you listen to someone who has not walked where you walk and understand your concept, and they're not on vision with your goals, how can they give you input about how to make a decision? Why would you listen? That's like me listening to somebody about becoming a millionaire and they've never been a millionaire. How would I listen to somebody to give me advice about my marriage and they got 4 divorces? Obviously, your marriage didn't work. It just don't add up, right? So now, number 3, don't overthink the risk. I need you all to really highlight that one in your time. I need some of you all to even put that on an index card and put that up somewhere. Don't overthink the risk. The risk factor, yeah, it may scare you sometimes, but nothing in life is going to be done without a risk. So we have to develop a certain tolerance for risk taking, you all. And then 4, make this whole process a habit. Well, that's easier said than done. Well, what is a habit? Can anybody tell me what a habit is?
Something that you do over and over and over and over.
Watch out now. Say it again.
Something that you do over and over and over, repeatedly.
Okay. That's close. That's close. Let me hit you all with something. A habit is a regular or settled tendency or practice, especially one that's hard to give up. It's a habit. How many of you all got a habit as soon as you get up in the morning, you look at your phone? Facebook, maybe, IG, Snapchat, something. It's a habit. How many of you all know it's a habit that after you look at your phone, you then go in the restroom and use the bathroom, brush your teeth, right? It's a habit. It's a practice. Well, how many of you all know that doctors really don't do medicine? They practice medicine. They develop a habit of forever doing research to understand what medicine may help, because you got different strains of things. For example, this strain of flu that came in this season just stopped everybody. They didn't know how to deal with it. Why? Because they have not encountered this type of strain. So you already know that the vaccines that they're preparing for next year, they got a sample of this flu and they are studying that flu. That is a practice. That is a habit of constantly doing research. It's a mundane job. It's boring. No one wants to do it, but it has to be done. So the whole concept of this whole process, you develop into a practice, develop it into a tendency that's hard to give up. When you do that, people, you will find that you have built a skill set of making decisions. You make a decisions, other people will still be sitting there. I guarantee you, 5 years from now, because you all made a decision to get into mentorship, you got some friends. I'll tell you, 5 months from now, a year from now, you got some friends who are going to still be talking the same talk, doing the same thing. And then you're going to look at them and realize that I did not realize that I had progressed and advanced so far, so fast, because you came into mentorship. Now, how do you build this skill set? I'm so glad you all asked. That's the $1,000 question tonight. Number 1, don't depend on the opinion of everyone. That's one of the main things that you all do, that people do well, we tend to depend on the opinions of everybody. Well, you say, well, how's that so, Mike? Mr. Mentor? How's that so? Because we look at TV, we look at YouTube, we Google stuff, and we tend to listen to everything on the outside instead of the voice that's on the inside. That's that gut feeling that you get. That's that intuition that you have. You can tell when someone is not good or a situation is not pleasant. Something inside you said, listen, I got to get out of here. It's the same concept, you all. So we have to learn how not to depend on the opinion of everyone. Everyone can't give you opinion about your decision-making process because their goals don't line up with your goals. Now, number 2, appropriate the right influence. Okay, well, if you want me to appropriate the right influence, then what does appropriate mean? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone?
To distribute.
Say it again.
To distribute. Appropriate, to distribute to something, to give to something.
Okay, okay, a little more, a little more.
I guess be careful who you have around you. Appropriate. Yeah.
Okay.
Appropriate. I'm appropriate.
Watch this, you all.
Take something to someone on use.
Almost. All of those are in line with what it is. But first you understand that appropriate is a verb, and it means suitable or proper in the circumstances. It's amazing. So a measure appropriate to wartime economy, right? Now someone said devote to a special purpose. That's the money and assets. There can be problems in appropriating funds for legal expenses. But the first definition is suitable or proper in the circumstance. So you have to begin to look for right influence that is suitable or proper for your circumstance where you are. That's good stuff right there. See, watch this. In the 21st century context in which we live, we have a strong shift in technology. So if you want to become technology savvy, why would you listen to someone who still uses a typewriter? If they engage technology, they would understand that typewriters are outdated, antiquated, and man, just flat out noisy. Think about what I just said, which simply means you have people who misappropriate things. When you misappropriate money, you get in trouble dealing with the government, right? Which means you didn't use that money properly for the circumstance. So when people get government grants and they misuse the funds, I don't know if you all heard about the young lady from FEMA. She was supposed to deliver over 150 million food packages to Haiti and only delivered $50,000 worth. Now, they gave this girl over $136 million. Needless to say, she misappropriated time, effort, but she got the money, right? So you have to appropriate the right influence. This is how you build the skill set. So if you're not going to depend on the opinion of everyone, that means you're going to do your proper research yourself. When you talk about appropriating the right influence, you're going to get with people who you know has shown a track record, who are competent in the area or the circumstance that you're entering into. Now, Scales and Bishop Shonda, this right here will preach for sure. Number 3, I told y'all, this one is going to keep coming up. Well, you might as well do it now. You utilize your mastermind group. See, when you have people in your mastermind group and you understand that the mastermind group, you chose these people and you selected a group of people that you chose who are sympathetic and in harmony with your purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a business, why would you choose board members who don't want to operate in the business space that you're in? Talk to me. That doesn't make sense. So your mastermind group, in essence, is going to be the group of those who also help hold you accountable and as it relates to your decision making. Now, the book has some great examples on this mastermind group. I want to share a few of them with you all. But, well, the one that I want to share that's most poignant, most important, is the 56. You read your book on 122, it'll show you how 56 men came together and signed their name to a declaration called the Declaration of Independence. Understanding that if they were going to go up against the rule of Britain and take away the British American colonies, if they signed their name to that document, y'all, and they lost, all of them could have been taken back to Great Britain or England and be hung for treason. But how many of you all know that before that declaration was signed in 1776, there's another date that you need to remember in 1774, when 2 or 3 individuals got together and said, we got to make a change. I believe it was John Samuel Adams, I believe. It was Samuel Adams, John Hancock, and another one. That was the first mastermind group that changed the course where you and I have what we call these United States of America. Your mastermind group is the most important thing that you're going to need to get from this book, Think and Grow Rich. Now, it may not have dawned on you all yet, but honestly, we are developing a mastermind group right here in this Essential Mentoring program. If you think about it, and if all of you all go on to develop business and really develop a business acumen and actually do your homework and actually launch something, then think about the business partners that you all have right here on this space. I don't know if it's really sinking in, if you already caught that, but think about, if not all 9 or 10 of us, maybe 2 or 3 might be in alignment with what you're doing. Mastermind group. And then lastly, you all, and I think some of you all are masters at this one, you do more listening and looking than talking. Oh yeah, I saw the head nod, Scales. I saw you right there. Yeah, that's your groove right there, huh? I got you. You do more listening than talking. But here's the reason why, and I'm getting ready to open this up. The reason why you do more listening than talking is sometimes you have people who are envious, and if you talk too much versus listening, you will mess around and let them know what you're planning to do. And then you may mess around and see someone else doing before you because they acted and made a decision faster than you did. Next thing you know, you'll see your vision and dream being put out in the community, in the neighborhood, and you'll be sitting up there mad because you were twiddling your thumbs, moving too slow. Not even realizing that sometimes people come talk to you to get information from you, to go take what you're doing, and they want to go do it first. Why? Because when someone is envious of you, they really want to beat you. I'm just going to be honest. They want to see you behind them. That's what envy does. Envy says, I want what you have. I want to be where you are. Now, you all, I'm going to tell you, your mindset is changing. You're privileged because you're in this mentorship program. There are people who are not in this mentorship program who think that they know what you know and that they can maneuver and operate like you, but it is not true because they have not walked through the material and information that you all have. Let me tell you all something. There are people in the earth realm who use this book religiously, and they go on to do great exploits, become great millionaires and billionaires of riches. And then you have people who want to do what those people are doing, but they never take the time to do what we're doing right now. We're listening, we're looking, we're engaging materials. So when it talks about you all understanding that in order to make a decision, in order to build the skill set of decision making, these are the four major principles that I pulled out of the book. Now, I'm not saying that these are only the ones in the book. These are the ones that stuck out to me. These are the ones that I incorporate. Now, it may seem like I talk a lot to you all because I'm in a position of teacher. But if you ever go into a business meeting with me, I do more listening than speaking. If you've ever been in a situation where you can watch me negotiate when I do business transactions, I do more listening than speaking. Dale Carnegie wrote a book, How to Win Friends and Influence with Others. You ask the right questions. You do more listening and looking than speaking. But when I'm in the role of a teacher, I have to teach, which means I have to do more talking. Now, decision-making is a skill set that once mastered allows one to move with a sense of urgency. All of those who know me within the fellowship, those who are watching this video, whoever showed you this video platform on the replay, Those who know me say I move fast. It's not that I move fast. It's that I move with a sense of urgency because I have mastered the ability to make a decision. No more and no less. Your ability to make a decision and have faith in that decision that you make is called definiteness of decision. When you have the courage to stand on a decision that you made, just like those 56 men who stood on a decision to sign their name to that Declaration of Independence, they staked their whole economic freedom on this one thing. So then here, the person who reaches a definite decision to procure the particular job and make life pay the price he asks does not stake his life on that decision. Rather, he stakes his economic freedom, financial independence, riches, desirable business, and professional positions are not within reach of the person who neglects to refuses to expect, plan, and demand these things. In other words, you all, while everyone else is sleeping, you made a decision to do the work, and life will pay you based upon your ability to make those decisions. I want to thank you all for coming on. This is session 8. And what's going to happen now is we're going to do a few house cleaning items. I'm going to stop the video. So all of you all who are watching this, make sure you continue to study. Make sure you continue to do your homework so you can become essential. Thank you.